Week 9 is here. My predictions record is 17-13, which is not great, but it can get better. Our first game this week is the Carolina Panthers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, where the Carolina Panthers just lost to the Atlanta Falcons in a close game where Teddy Bridgewater got injured, came back later in the game. And the Chiefs, they came off upon one of the easiest victories of the year where they faced off against the New York Jets. They have the Chiefs favored by 10.5. I don't think it's that close, that far away in terms of a ending of the game prediction. I would say that the Chiefs win by about a touchdown. I think they're going to win. I like the Carolina Panthers defense, however, but I just don't think they can keep up with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to win. The score is going to be 35-28. And then we got potentially one of the worst games in terms of records, where the Pittsburgh Steelers will travel to Dallas to face the Dallas Cowboys, in which the Steelers are favored by 14.5. That was one of the higher percents in giving that the Cowboys can't score points, because the Cowboys don't even know who the quarterback is going to be. And like, we don't know if it's going. We know it's not going to be Ben DiNucci again. They don't know if it's going to be Garrett Gilbert, Cooper Rush, and a lot of people who don't know those two people, who those people are. And that's understandable because they've never really been in a game. They've never performed. And you look at the Steelers, they're really good this year. Their offense is amazing. They got Chase Claypool, who's a stud. Juju Smith-Schuster is remarkable. They got a good running game. And the Cowboys' defense, their defense, it played better last week against the awful Eagles, but they can't figure out this running defense. They can't figure it out. This is the 36th meeting between the two, where actually the Cowboys, ironically, lead the all-time record for it. They're 17-15 against the Steelers. I have the Steelers winning just because the odds are way too big. I don't think the Cowboys will scoring 2 touchdowns in this game. Least of all, keep up with the Steelers. Steelers are going to win big by a score of 35-7. Saints visit the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are favored by 4 points. That's reasonable because divisional games are usually closer. Tampa Bay was embarrassed last week. Was embarrassed the first time they faced off against each other in week 1. And I don't think the Saints can score enough points because they had a hard enough time against Chicago, and that's why I'm taking Tampa, because Chicago came back, they brought them to overtime, and with them potentially not having Michael Thomas again, potentially not having Emmanuel Sanders again, there's just so much wrong with the New Orleans Saints. I don't think they can keep up. So that's why I'm taking Tampa by about a touchdown. The score's going to be 28-21. And potentially the worst game, if not the worst game of the year, is the New England Patriots will face off against the New York Jets. Now the Patriots already have their problems. Cam Newton has not played very well. I think he hasn't met anyone's expectation. But the problem is, neither are the Jets. The Jets are the Jets. They don't play extremely well either. Cam Newton, I thought, had one of his better games last week, but he fumbled again. And so it was just, he's making mistakes, and it's just not good. But you can't blame this all on Cam Newton, because the offense doesn't have a lot of talent. They don't have talent of receiver. The running back is where they only have the talent. They don't have a fear on the outside. They have a speed guy. Julian Edelman is injured. He's missing time. There's just so much wrong with the Patriots. But they're going to win this game because the Jets are the Jets. The Jets aren't playing well. Potentially without Sam Darnold this week. No receivers. I mean, you have the ageless one of Frank Gore, but that's pretty much it. It's a very difficult situation if you're the Jets, because I don't know if they're going to win this year. But this is a game they have to win if you're the Jets. This is going to give you some hope of potentially not being 0-16, and also potentially keeping Adam Gase around, which is what still makes no sense to a lot of people. But I have the Patriots winning. They're going to win by about a touchdown. Patriots are going to win. I have them winning 21-14. And I guess for some people, maybe not for all, but for some people, the return of Antonio Brown, we are finally going to see this Sunday night on NBC when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go and face the Saints in Tampa. This offense is going to be explosive if they aren't already. They already have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Gronkowski, Cameron Brate, Leonard Fournette, Shady McCoy, Ronald Jones. They're explosive offensively. Their defense is really good in the sack department. They get turnovers. They rush the quarterback. They make him go under duress, and they just make a lot of great plays. And it's honestly, I questioned why I was gonna have the Bucs win such a close game because of how Antonio Brown supposedly is practicing and playing, because you look at him, and that one thing Brady did was, he was shocked by his physique. Like, really shocked that this guy was transformed his body. But he had him come in and live with him so he could learn quickly on the scheme and everything. And something similar to what he did in New England. So it's going to help him immensely. We don't know how much he's going to play, but we can tell you that's going to be a big focal point this week, is how much do they give the ball to him, and how much does he play. And I know the commentators the commentating team of Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth are going to point it out, because it's such a big thing. He hasn't played. He's just come off his suspension. This is going to be huge. It's going to be interesting, but we're going to see what's going to happen. I'm very excited. Where the last thing of this week's show is, are the Jets tanking for Trevor Lawrence? And a short answer, yes. And a long answer, absolutely. Because they can't score. And maybe that's because they don't have any receivers. They really don't. I don't think Rashad Perriman is a terrible receiver, but he's a slot guy. He's not going to get those 50-50 balls. Probably get 1 of 50 if you do that 50 times. Chris Hogan is not an outside presence, so he's not going to beat you anywhere. Frank Gore is, as I said before, the ageless wonder who just continues to make plays. You don't know how much more tread he has in the tire, but he always finds a way to make plays. You don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be there, and you can't blame Sam Darnold because he hasn't had the weapons. But there's 4 things that can happen. They either fire Adam Gase and release or trade Sam Darnold and bring in a whole new regime of a new coach. They bring in Trevor Lawrence. They draft well. Or they just release Sam Darnold and draft Trevor Lawrence, but keep Adam Gase. Or they fire Adam Gase but keep Sam Darnold and don't draft Trevor Lawrence, and just bring in maybe an Eric Bieniemy or something like that, an offensive coach that gives him a chance. Or the fourth reason, they may just not do anything and just let them fall through the cracks. They just let Trevor Lawrence fall through the cracks, fall through their fingertips, which is usually what the Jets do. But what do you guys think? Should the Jets draft Trevor Lawrence? And if so, where does Sam Darnold go? I think if they do draft Trevor Lawrence, chances are they're going to trade Sam Darnold most likely to the Jacksonville Jaguars, which would not be an ideal situation for him, but it would be better than the Jets. But it's all about, I think he's going to Jacksonville. But he could also go probably just to the Giants. Maybe. But where do you guys think he's going to go? And explain why you